So everything keeps moving on. And from our perspective here on planet Earth, the sun has now moved on into another hexagram, into gateway number 19. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a recap of what's been going on recently. And I'm going to go back to where the sun was in gate 61, which is basically the one we call inner truth, which is guiding our attention towards, we know inside ourselves, we know what it is that's important for us. We know what is truthful to us and what is not. And, you know, it's a very important feature in these times for us to actually be relating to what is truthful rather than somehow allowing ourselves to succumb to the bombardment of information coming at us from all sides. So establishing our sovereign nature, trusting in our own sense of what is truthful. And then the sun moved on into gateway number 60, which is the one we call limitation. And the limitation, both things that appear to be on the outside that are holding us back in our life, and also the things that we say, well, I can't do this because of this, that, and the other, and finding all kinds of reasons why we're stuck in something or other. And then the sun moved on into gate 41, which in the Chinese I Ching, the translation is decrease. It's right at the bottom end of things, looking upwards. So from this vantage point where everything is glued or stuck somewhere or other, what is the vision I hold for myself? What are the things that I really aspire towards? And what are the things I would really envision coming into my life to bring that whole sense of fulfillment? And so now the sun, from our perspective, has gone on to gateway number 19. And this is the last of the hexagrams that have, as the bottom, they have solid, broken, which is Tui, which is the lake, which is joy. So this is the last of these 8 hexagrams that have that as the foundational piece. And this is the gateway we call approach. These are the pages for it. Approach as in a movement. In the I Ching, there are 4 gateways that have movement implied in them. The 19 is the one of approach, like moving outwards, connecting. The 44 is the one that's called coming to meet. And that is, you know, recognizing what is happening in an interaction. How does one read somebody or something in one's life instinctively? Then there's the 24, which is the gateway called returning, which is the mind process of recycling and refining things that go on in the mind. And then the 33 is the gateway of retreat. So these are the 4 movement gateways. And this is the 19, which is the gateway of approach, like going out and seeing how we all connected here. In the wheel, we see the 19 is in the top left-hand corner, and then 2 gateways past it in a counterclockwise direction. We have gateway number 49, which makes up that potential channel, the 1949. So the 19 is in the root center at the bottom of the chart, and the 49 in the emotion center. And so the 49 is the first of the emotional gateways. So we're moving slowly into that season. And it's just fascinating that these 2 gateways are just separated by one particular gateway, number 13, the gate of the listener. And so we'll be looking at that one next. But the 19, this gateway of approach, very close to making a connection with the 49, just 2 gateways away. And the 49 is the one that's called revolution. So approach is kind of reaching out, wanting to make connection. And the 49 is like the gatekeeper. Like you're allowed in or not, you belong here or not. And it's part of what we call the tribal circuitry. And tribal circuitry having very much to do with, you know, who's in and who's out, who gets room and board and who doesn't, who belongs, who's familiar, who supports us, right? So that's very much the key phrase of anything in tribal circuitry is where's the support? Am I in support? Am I being given support? So the 19 is kind of looking out for that connection. That is its thrust, because it comes out of the root center in the bottom of the chart. Now, the root center, that brown square center in the bottom of the chart, we can see it in 2 different ways. We can see it as a pressure to get out and interact in life, even to the point of getting stressed out. So there can be this huge pressure with the 19 to connect. The other side, a way of viewing this root center is this is the support or the cradle that we receive from Mother Earth. She supports us in our life. And let's just be very clear about it. You know, we may have come from other star systems, but in this lifetime, it's a really good thing to have a connection with Mother Earth while we're here, and just, you know, sense what it is that goes on here. What is the story that happens in 3D in a duality where there's time? And so 19 is this push, this pressure to get out and be involved. And we call it approach, the need to find inclusion. So on one level, yes, it's about joining in with the family, with the tribe, with the community, with the corporation, however the family shows up. But it's also the quest for unity. It's finding itself in this duality here on the earth. Male, female, day, night, black, white, up, down, all these different duality factors. And it's wanting the unification again. We come out of unity, we come into the duality here. It's part of the deal. And then we go back into the unity again. But the 19 is, in some ways, it's that push, that thrust. I want to connect. I need to connect. I need to be included. And so in some ways, we see it's all right, one part of the beginning of the tribal circuitry. In another way, we see it's also part of the mystical circuitry. And it's almost like the 19th gateway gives that push. Have another look at things. Have a look at your circumstances, your surroundings, the people around you. Where do you feel that inclusion? Where do you feel that connection? Reaching out to find how life connects us all in an urge to end separation and re-establish unity. So is it possible that unity can be embraced here on planet Earth in this duality? Is there just one thing going on here? Or do we always see two sides of it, the good and the bad, the up and the down, the right and the wrong, and all these different things? And so 19 is always questioning that, this approach, like reaching out, wanting to make that connection. It's always looking to have that happen. And so the commentary here, sensing others' needs more often than they do themselves. Right, so that is one of the things about the 19th gateway. If you've got this 19th gateway, you'll know you're very much tuning into what does everybody else around here need. And there can be such a push to fulfill their needs, to move out of one's own frame of reference and just constantly get involved in other people's, because there's just that push to be involved, to be included somehow or other. So needing to be wanted, wanting to be needed. It's one of those things that goes with the 19th gateway. But ultimately, it's that drive to reconnect with the unification, with the unity, with the oneness of it all. An internal energy drives you to make contact, to establish a starting point to self-realization. And you'll find if you've got the 19th gateway, you're very often in that position of getting people started on their journey. You know, they've been so involved with the outside that they haven't looked on the inside so much. And to see where the source of that creation or that source of that connection comes from. And the little point here, flirtation draws attention. So the 19 is always looking for that connection, that how do I get people's attention? How do I get to connect? And, you know, in the very simple terms, how do I find a place within the family that's going to support me, look after me? You know, what are the companies or partnerships I'm going to get involved in here? And there's always that potential of the 49 at the other end is, no, you're not one of us. We don't like your kind. You're not allowed in. And so the 19 will literally go out of its way to somehow establish its need within a community. They'll do anything to be included, to be wanted, to be connected in. And we watch this playing out on many, many different stages these days of how people will sell their soul to somehow be involved in something or other. And it's not, ultimately, it's not going to do them any good. But it's just the 19 that has that sense of wanting to connect. It's a huge pressure to want to connect. So let's have a look through the lines. 6 lines as always, and we start with the first line at the bottom of the hexagram. And the first line always establishes the foundation for that particular hexagram. And so the first line says, finding mutuality, right? Where's the common ground? Where's the agreement? Where's the balance between giving and taking, as much as my need is met by your need? Reaching out to find supportive company. Now, this whole channel, the 1949, we've given it the name of sensitivity. it has this, the 19 is just wanting to make the connection. The 49 is, well, do we want this connection or not? Is this somebody that really belongs? Is an energy we'll want on board here? And so what people will find if they have this whole channel, the 1949, they're not just sensitive, they're hypersensitive. And many people with this particular channel, they reckon, doesn't everybody have this level of sensitivity? And the answer to that is no, they don't. People with a 1949, they have this, they can touch in on anything. It's very tactile, very sensual. And they can feel all kinds of things going on in other people's lives. And more than other people realize for themselves what it is they're needing, what it is that's really important for them in their life. So this first line is very clear, finding mutuality. Who's on the same page with me? What's my family all about? What's my community all about? What's my tribe? Reaching out to find supportive company, right? Where's the balance? Where's the fit? As much as I will support, will I get the reciprocation? Your emotional detachment and inner equilibrium are tested through interactions with others. And so there's always that thing, am I going overboard, because I want to be connected, or, am I kind of holding back a little bit because I want them to want me more? And so the 19 is always in that state. Where's the mutual balance? Where's the context of that? And so the sun gives an energy. You have the strength to hold to your principles when confronted by outside influences. What are your principles? Well, as I give, I receive. There's a balance. There's a balance in all things there. So that is one side of it. Holding to one's principles, that there has to be that mutuality in any interaction, in any sense of belonging or connecting in. And then the moon side of it, a tendency when considering other needs to get distracted from your own. You put all your intention into everybody else's requirements or what they need or what they want. Like you join a group or you join a club of some sort and you end up doing all the book work and all the organizing and all the phone calling and you take on the whole weight of it just so that you can have that connection. And it's just, it may suit you or not, but it's, you're in the end, it's your type and authority that tells you, is this an appropriate move for me or not? Or am I going out of my way to satisfy everybody else's needs while not taking care of my own? And that's what the 19th gateway is all about. It's come from the inner truth to limitations to the vision. And now it's really seeing, where's the connection? Who's with me? Where do I belong in this matrix of things? If at all. Do I need to take part in other people's programs, other people's gatherings? The second line, the innocent, the natural, cooperating, a right approach wins allies, give and take, right approach, I'll do my thing, you do your thing. And that is what the second line does with this 19th gateway. It tunes into what is actually needed in the context. You have a natural gift to assist others by summoning support from many sources. The second line is going to have this kind of innocence of joining different factions or different people together. And that is definitely its part of its quality here is establishing cooperation. The tribe, there needs to be this support from all sides. And so the second line just has a natural way of facilitating for that. Jupiter gives it an energy. You overcome all difficulties by trusting in your uncontrived high ideals. Uncontrived, that's the beauty of the second line. If as long as everything stays natural, it's great. It's just I'm being me. Or when it starts getting more complex or more, we might use the word sophisticated. It's not necessarily a word that I apply with second lines much, sophistication, a natural approach or a contrived one. And here it's saying, you'll overcome all difficulties by trusting in your natural, uncontrived high ideals. And then Mercury here says, being there for others so that you feel included and not necessarily always to assist them. That is the other side of it. The inclusion becomes more important than actually contributing or, giving the support that other people are looking for. The third line always has this commitment issue around it. And, when a third line commits, it's a done deal. But up until that point, there can be a hesitancy, coming, going, am I going to get involved here? And the line is called getting involved. Great care is needed to distinguish real needs and wants. Third lines always have this quality of risk-taking. They may just blindly jump into something without realizing the consequences of it. And here it's saying just what are the real needs and wants in any situation? And then you get involved. Of course, we're always backing down to type and authority to say what is appropriate for you in any situation. All your relationships will suffer if you are motivated by neediness instead of inner clarity. And that statement we might apply to the whole of the 19th hexagram, all the lines. If you're motivated by neediness, either your neediness or somebody else's neediness, then, expect there to be chaos. Expect yourself to be worn out, not appreciated, not connected, and certainly not supported. Doesn't matter what you do. Venus gives it a flavor. You maintain a natural inner harmony in your approval of and by others. Right? That give and take. Now, how important is it to receive other people's approval? Right? It's a good question for all of us in a way. Are we constantly kind of checking it? What does everyone think of me? How does everyone approve of me? Am I doing the right stuff? Am I showing up on Facebook enough? Or TikTok or whatever, Are we looking for other people's approval? Are we okay with it? Is it okay to be congratulated for doing something? Or is it just, the neediness to get other people's approval? So we maintain a natural inner harmony in your approval of and by others, right? That is the most balanced state. You do things because you are clear to be doing them. You make the associations, the connections because of that. And then the other side of it, with the moon, your moodiness can become a neediness that dominates all your interactions with others. And I think all of us can be aware of what that quality might be. There's just this sense I want to belong. I need to be picked for this thing. I need to be connected into whatever it is that's going on here. And it wipes out everything else. It wipes out any sense of clarity or, appropriateness. And we all can say there are things we've been involved in various times in our lives where, at second glances, we probably wouldn't have done it, and there was some sense of inclusion involved in it. And so the 19 exactly points that out to us, what's involved there. We get to the fourth line. The fourth line is called maturity. Composed behavior in group interactions furthers teamwork. So fourth line always has this potential to be very influential. There's always a sense of we are all involved in this together. So fourth lines are always looking for that natural inclusion. We're all on the same page. We're all pulling the same way. We're all in support of each other. And so, the maturity for the fourth line is to actually look around and see, is this actually the case? Is there this support that's here? Or am I deluding myself? Because what happens for any fourth line is the moment there's disapproval, there's a moment that somebody starts looking the other way and says, well, we're going to do something differently. The fourth line has this potential of collapsing. And, obviously we can't work together. And this line is saying, composed behavior in group interactions furthers teamwork. Is like constantly checking out, is everybody informed and up to speed with it all? And am I coming from a clear space in what it is that I'm promoting and how it is I'm being influential? You're mostly at ease being among others and appreciate everyone's contributions. That is a great thing. When you're on a team or in some kind of arrangement where everybody's on the same page, everybody's pulling together. It's just such a great feeling. There's no contrariness within it all. Everyone's just on it. And the fourth line has that potential to get everyone tuned in on that level. The Mars energy here, you drive others to excel through your efforts in example and encouragement. And there it is, everyone's on the same team, pulling the same direction, and it just becomes a natural flow through you to be contributing in that way, to get everyone just really engaged together, involved together. And then the Venus side of it, within a group, you tend to be promoting harmony rather than results. And that speaks for itself in a sense that people are not happy and trying to make everybody happy, and nothing's going to come out of it. There's going to be all this different factions going off in different directions, and it just defies any sense of cooperation or pulling together as a team. Everyone's got their self-interest involved here. And this, we might say this is very much an energy that's going on in the world at the moment. There are so many vested interests and so many people pulling in their own direction, uninformed basically. And sooner or later, everything starts coming unglued. The fifth line here, fifth line always has the potential of leadership and guidance for everybody else. It can see the potentials, it can see how to arrange, how to organize, how to set things up. And the fifth line here is called delegating, offering up personal initiatives to capable helpers. Right, the fifth line can see who can carry this area of what it is as a team effort. Right, the 19 is looking for the inclusion to get everybody on board and to have all the needs met. Those that want to contribute, give them their place to do that. And so the fifth line is seeing to delegate, who can play what role within all of this. Personal initiatives to capable helpers. You support everyone by delegating to capable assistants while retaining overall responsibility. And there it is. The fifth line has that overall responsibility, but it's a great thing to have a team working for you, and just so that everything gets accomplished. Everybody feels that sense of support. With the Earth's placement here, your inner confidence and strength of purpose enjoys seeing your associates get ahead. It's one of those great things I've watched in teaching human design for nearly 30 years now, is watching people I train just take off in not only their own personal life and their understanding, but also in how they relay it into other people's lives as well. And so the fifth line has that quality, the inner confidence and strength of purpose, right? So absolutely dedicated and clear in themselves to what it is and how they can really further the capable helpers or the delegates or whoever it is. The Jupiter side of it, when you delegate authority without regard for someone's capabilities, chaos ensues. So there's that thing of recognizing, is somebody really up to speed in what it is they're promoting, what they're putting out? Are they being truthful to what they're presenting to the world? And that is always a situation with a fifth line. Is it on point, or does it need to be a reality check? What's the inner source that's putting out this guidance and leadership? How is the delegate being chosen? Is it because they're twisting your arm? Is it because they're bribing you? How do you choose the delegate? And again, we're watching this kind of carry on in various places in the world. People will do anything to be seen to go ahead, to be connected in some way or other. And then the sixth line here is called the sage, right? The sixth line right at the top of the hexagram, it's got the overview of the whole hexagram. It understands the context of needs and wants. And so we call this line the sage, teaching about inner growth from your own depth of experience. So I said earlier on, the 19 gateway is very much the beginning of this quest for unity. And so the sixth line will have gone through many, many arenas of personal experience in this quest for unity. And they will be in this place to be able to offer inner growth or potential teaching about inner growth from their own experiences in life, for all the trials and tribulations and everything they've gone through. You can provide immense support to others through imparting compassionate wisdom. Right? What's the compassionate wisdom? We're all in the same boat. We're maybe in different seats in the boat, with different decks in the boat. We're all on the same boat here. We're all kind of chugging along in the same way. We're all looking for that unity. And so it doesn't matter what deck you're on, whether you're pulling on the oars or whether you're sitting on the chair deck, it's compassionate wisdom embraces everybody on board. We're all in the same thing together. And the sixth line, the sage, knows how to equate or offer things into different levels of intelligence and different levels of quality of life that people are having here. The whole thing is, we rise together on the same tide. The Jupiter side of things, your magnanimous nature must sometimes be enticed from you to engage with others. There can be a tendency with six lines to just give. They've got the best view, they've got the overview, they can see how everyone can be benefited by the connection, by being connected, by being put on that path to quest for unity, to find out what it's all about. What is the life all about? And so six lines can see, wow, it's all a bit too much, and there's too much responsibility on my shoulders looking out for everybody else's concerns. And so sometimes, the magnanimous nature, the high quality of the sage needs to be drawn out, be enticed to commit, to engage, to be able to inform other people. Yeah, these are the things that are possible for you in this stage of your life. These are things that I might recommend for you. These are how you're going to connect into that pathway to unity on this mystical journey of yours. And then the Mars energy, you have a need to be approached respectfully. Right? The sixth sign is the sage, and the sage has done their due diligence along the way. So you have a need to be approached respectfully, so you can then impart your wisdom. And we see that, the great teachers make themselves a little obscure, make themselves a little distant, and not everybody is welcomed, or some people have to jump through hurdles, but there it is. It's that respect. Yeah, I've done my job. I've done my due diligence. And yeah, absolutely come. I'll tell you all about it. Tell you all about human design and many, many life experiences as well. And there it is. That thing of supporting each other with compassionate wisdom and that engagement from our own source of truth and our own sense of joy and fulfillment in this life. So there we are. That's the gateway to connection, is through 19 gateway. That's it.